Chapter 7. The Crown's Burden. The council chambers of Arvindale were vast, echoing and cold, designed more to intimidate than to inspire. Columns of white stone rose like ancient sentinels, lit by shafts of morning sunlight that poured through narrow windows. The air smelled faintly of ink and parchment, of dust stirred by urgent footsteps, of fear masked by formality. Finn entered alone. The nobles were already seated, their robes rustled like restless wings, their gazes cut like knives. Not one smiled, not one bowed. He recognized the tone instantly. This was no routine meeting. This was an intervention. Baron Finn, Lord Meredith greeted stiffly. Thank you for attending. His voice held the grave politeness of a man approaching a battlefield, with no sword drawn, but plenty sharpened behind his back. Finn kept his composure, stepping forward until he stood in the center of the chamber. My lords, my ladies, he bowed lightly. I understand you wish to speak. We do, Lady Rowan said, folding her hands in a gesture too composed to be natural. The matter concerns the Queen. And concerns you, added the treasurer, eyes shining with satisfaction. Finn's stomach tightened. I serve at Her Majesty's pleasure, he said carefully. If she has summoned this meeting, I will hear her words. She has not summoned it, Lord Meredith replied. We have. Finn felt a shadow slide across his heart. Does the Queen know? She is aware we intended to speak with you, Lady Rowan said delicately. Their vagueness was intentional, dangerously so. As you surely know, Lord Meredith began, Her Majesty has reached an age where marriage is both expected and politically necessary. The stability of the realm depends upon securing an alliance that strengthens her reign. Finn stiffened. The Queen's heart is her own. She may choose whom she loves. A queen does not marry for love, Lady Rowan snapped, patience unraveling. She marries for Arvindale. And Arvindale, added the treasurer, cannot afford for its queen to marry a baron of obscure birth. The blow landed cold and deep. Finn kept his face impassive, but anger simmered beneath the surface. I am loyal to the crown, he said softly. I have defended Isolde against enemies within this very court. I have risked my life. And that loyalty is appreciated, Lord Meredith interrupted, voice clipped. But it does not make you suitable to be king. King. The word silenced Finn like a blade to the throat. He had dreamed of standing beside Isolde, yes. But king? That role still felt like an ill-fitted costume he dared not try on. Your affections have not gone unnoticed, Lady Rowan continued. The Queen's as well. A ripple of disapproval traveled through the chamber. It is improper, another councillor murmured. Dangerous. Scandalous. Unstable. Finn's jaw tightened. Isolde is not unstable. Love is, Meredith replied sharply, especially when it weakens the perception of the throne. He stepped closer, lowering his voice like one speaking to a madman armed with a concealed dagger. Baron Finn, you must step back. End this affair for the good of the kingdom. Silence crushed the room. Finn stared at them, these men and women who had never seen Isolde cry, never seen her laugh freely, never lifted her burdens or wiped the strain from her brow. You ask me to break the Queen's heart, he said coldly. We ask you, Rowan corrected, to prevent the kingdom from breaking around it. His pulse thundered in his ears. And if I refuse? Every noble stiffened. Then, Lord Meredith said quietly, we will petition Her Majesty directly, and she will be forced to choose between you and Arvindale. The choice was no choice at all. The kingdom would always win. Queens do not protect love. Queens protect thrones. Your loyalty will be rewarded, Meredith added. A larger estate, a higher title, perhaps even a seat on the High Council. But you must end this. Reward for heartbreak, bribes dressed as honor. Finn forced his breathing steady. I will consider your counsel. It was all he could say without screaming. He bowed, barely, and strode from the chamber. Their eyes burned into his back as the doors shut behind him. He found Isolde in her study, surrounded by scrolls and maps, her hair pulled back in a simple braid. She looked up, relief softening her features. Finn. She approached, placing a hand on his arm. Are you all right? They said they only wanted to speak. They want us to end, he said bluntly. Her face paled. What? They called our love dangerous, weak, unfit. They say you must marry for politics, not affection. Isolde steadied herself against the edge of the table. The worry lines at the corners of her eyes deepened. I feared this, she whispered. They have been pressuring me for weeks. Weeks. The word stung. Why didn't you tell me? Her mouth opened, then closed. I didn't want to burden you, she said softly. His chest tightened. I am not a burden. I deserve to know. She stepped closer. You are right, I'm sorry. Finn exhaled slowly. What will you do? He asked. She looked away toward the large window overlooking the gardens. I don't know, she admitted. I wish the world were simpler. It could be, Finn murmured, almost begging. If you let it. But I cannot, she whispered sharply, turning back to him. Arvindale is not mine alone. I must marry wisely or risk war, uprising, famine. The burden on my shoulders is larger than either of us. Her words struck him like a hammer. You are enough for me, Finn, she said, reaching up to touch his cheek. But I do not know if I am enough for the kingdom and for love at the same time. Her hand trembled. Finn caught it gently. We can fight this, he said. Together. We can convince the council. She tried to smile, but sorrow filled her eyes. I want to believe that. The distance between them grew, not physically, but painfully, invisibly. Love stood between them. Duty stood in front of her, and Finn felt himself slipping from her grasp. That night, Finn wandered the palace halls, unable to sleep. His thoughts twisted like thorned vines. His breath felt too shallow. His heart beat too fast. He needed someone to blame, someone to speak to, someone to guide him. He found Lucian in the Old West corridor, a place where torchlight flickered weakly, shadows stretching into long fingers along the stone walls. Lucian turned before Finn could speak, as if he had sensed his turmoil. You seem troubled, Lucian murmured. Finn's voice cracked under the weight of his frustration. The council wants me to leave her. Lucian's lips curled into a knowing smile. Of course they do. You knew, Finn accused. I suspected, Lucian replied, unbothered. The higher one climbs, the harder others try to pull them down. Finn clenched his fists. They say I'm unworthy, that the queen needs an alliance, not a man like me. And do you believe them? Lucian asked quietly. No, Finn said bitterly. But Isolde, she hesitated, and that frightens me. Lucian laid a hand on his shoulder, a gesture almost paternal. My boy, he said gently, you have come farther than any fool in history, but you forget one thing. Finn looked up, despair clouding his eyes. What? Lucian leaned close, his voice a whisper of velvet and poison. Love does not survive kingdoms. Power does. Finn went still. Lucian continued. If you want her, truly want her, then do not fight the council with words. Fight them with influence. Take the throne's strength into your hands. Make yourself indispensable. Make yourself the only man the council can accept. Finn inhaled sharply. How? Lucian's smile darkened. By removing the alternatives. A chill stabbed through Finn's spine. You mean, remove the suitors? Lucian laughed softly. Not necessarily through death, my friend. Scandal ruins men far more effectively than daggers. Ruined alliances fade into dust. And if I refuse? Finn asked. Lucian stepped back, hands clasped behind him. Then you will lose her. The words echoed like a prophecy. Finn returned to his chambers shaken. The moon hung low, heavy and red, casting streaks of blood-colored light across the floor. He sat at his desk, staring at blank parchment. Love or duty? Ambition or surrender? Heart or kingdom? Could he truly sabotage noble houses? Could he ruin suitors who sought the queen's hand? His stomach churned. He wanted to be good. He had always tried to be good, but he wanted Isolde more. And he had not clawed his way from jester to baron to stand meekly before those who would tear him away from her. He dipped his quill in ink. The first letter he wrote was hesitant, the second more confident, the third bold. 3 letters that would set fire to the entire court, 3 letters that would dismantle 3 powerful noble houses, 3 letters that would mark the beginning of Finn's downfall. And the first betrayal Isolde would never forgive. When he finished, Finn stared at his trembling hands, shame knotting in his chest. "Forgive me," he whispered to the empty room. Then he sealed each letter with his signet ring. By midday, whispers erupted through the palace like wildfire. Scandal, accusations, exposed affairs, forged documents, ruined reputations. Lord Meredith's eldest son found his engagement broken after a forged love letter appeared. Lady Rowan's financial corruption, long hidden, surfaced through conveniently leaked records. A foreign suitor was discredited when rumors of treason spread overnight. And though Finn kept a steady face, though he said nothing, though he played the part of loyal adviser, the Queen noticed. "Finn," she said quietly that evening, when they stood together on the moonlit terrace once more. "What have you done?" He froze. "What do you mean?" Her eyes were filled with sorrow. Not accusation, not anger, sorrow. "The council is in chaos," she whispered. 3 of my strongest allies are suddenly disgraced, and you—" She reached out, cupping his face tenderly. Her touch burned. "You look at me with the guilt of a man who has spilled blood without drawing a sword." His breath trembled. "Isolde." She blinked back tears. "Finn, I love you, but your ambition is beginning to frighten me." The words sliced deeper than any blade. He grabbed her hands desperately. "I did it for us," he whispered. "For you." "Did I ask you to do it?" she asked softly. He hesitated. "No." She closed her eyes, pain shadowing her features. "Then please, do not destroy my kingdom for my sake." And though she pulled him into her arms a moment later, holding him fiercely, lovingly, tremblingly, Finn felt something within her shift. A crack, a fracture, a silent warning. And for the first time he feared he might lose her not to the council, but to himself. That night, when Finn returned to his chambers, a single parchment lay atop his pillow. No seal, no signature, only 3 words. "The gambit turns." Finn sank onto the bed, gripping the note in shaking hands. Lucien's handwriting. A chill slithered through his spine. Because he understood what it meant. He had taken his first step into a game he could not win. A game Lucien had planned from the beginning. A game where even love was just another piece on the board. In the stillness of the night, Finn whispered to himself, "What have I done?" But there was no answer, only the distant echo of footsteps in the hall and the faint, mocking jingle of a single bell hidden within his cloak.